So as you know, all the kids have been talking about AI this past year as it's been the big trend in the markets, in our news, our technology. And basically the fear is like, okay, is this AI thing going to take all of our jobs? Elon Musk, the Tesla CEO, is like promising you, hey guys, robot drivers, robots, humanoid ones. And then OpenAI, Microsoft, Apple, ChatGPT, all these things are essentially all trying to figure out how to get your dollars on a monthly subscription. What if it turns out this whole thing is a big, massive scam? In fact, there's a news story that just came out today that's absolutely insane. It's a leaked document on an agreement between OpenAI and Microsoft. That really reveals what these companies are thinking. Let me share this, the headlines, and I'll go over it, and let's jump right in. So first, it says here's the headline. Microsoft and OpenAI have a financial definition of AGI, a report. And you got this leak documents show OpenAI has a very clear definition of AGI. Let me read the opening paragraph and see if you can follow along what we're talking about here. It says, OpenAI and Microsoft have a secret definition for AGI, an acronym for artificial general intelligence, or any system that can outperform humans at most tasks. Right, here's the key line right here. Get ready of this. According to leaked documents obtained by The Information, the two companies came to agree in 2023 that AGI will be achieved once OpenAI has developed an AI system, get ready, that can generate at least 100 billion in profits. Let that sink in. So what are we talking about here? And I actually had to tell my wife a couple times because she's like, wait, what? Because it doesn't really make much sense, right? So yeah, I'll explain it. And basically, all these companies, and you could talk about researchers, scientists, users are all, fighting over how do we define artificial general intelligence, or AGI, right? And we're thinking in terms of like some sort of, technical definition. I mean, what could it do? When do we reach that milestone of, a thinking robot? A good way to think about it. So my wife's like, okay, you mean a thinking robot? Like, yeah, okay, thinking robot. Because right now it's kind of like a advanced Google search, large language model, however you want to say it, scraping data and just sort of copying things that humans say, but not really thinking per se. And there's a lot of definitions for this AGI thing, again, artificial general intelligence. But Microsoft and OpenAI have come up with a more of a definition that's basically money related. And they're saying here, I'll read it again. It says, this is leaked documents obtained by the information that the two companies came to agree in 2023, so last year, that AGI will be achieved, right? So we're going to make this big announcement, I guess is kind of how I'm reading this. AGI will be achieved once OpenAI has developed an AI system that can generate at least 100 billion in profits. So I guess we're just basically defining, hey, we've reached success in AGI when we start making a bunch of money and we convince people to buy said thing. It is such a strange definition to way to define this thing. And I'm actually going to ask the AI what they think about this, because it's funny to ask. Hey, question. How do you define AGI?
AGI stands for Artificial General Intelligence. It's basically a type of AI that's as smart and capable as a human being. It can learn new things, solve problems creatively, and even understand complex ideas.
Do we have AGI now?
We don't yet have what most people would consider true AGI. While there are some very impressive AI systems out there, they still have limitations. They can be really good at specific tasks, but they don't have the same kind of general intelligence that humans do.
Is it possible to ever reach AGI?
That's a tough one, with a lot of different opinions out there. Some experts think we're still a long way off, while others think it could happen sooner than we think. I guess we'll just have to wait and see how things develop.
What's the bottleneck for reaching AGI?
There are a few big ones. For starters, we still don't fully understand how the human brain works, so it's hard to copy that kind of intelligence. We also haven't figured out how to give machines a truly common sense understanding of the world. And finally, it's really difficult to design AI systems that can learn and adapt in the same way that humans do.
And I wanted you guys to hear, just the AI talking about it, because again, this stuff will be all over the map on how people are going to define this thing. And she also, I don't know what the AI is a she, and she also addresses some of the issues with, say, Elon Musk as, I refer to like a fake AI or a scam, and that's his full self-driving FSD thing. And actually, they even name it full self-driving, but it's not really. It is just we'll call it an autopilot assistant, or whatever you want to call it. But the reason why I mentioned the Elon Musk one is, again, the way they define these things is like, hey, the AI can, adapt to the real world. It can think on its own and stuff like that. I'll give an example. So whenever I watch, and we'll talk about Tesla and OpenAI, whenever I watch the OpenAI ChatGPT, videos, you're never quite exactly sure if you're watching something live, in the sense that, is this the first time you recorded it and it worked perfectly, no editing, etc. Because this came up with actually Google's presentation of their AI when they first showed it, that they had edited it. And basically the editing was is they cut down the time that it took for the robot to think, which actually is a little bit misleading, right? Because let's say I asked the AI a question, and I'm not editing this, so you literally heard the performance of it. But when they introduced it, it was like, I don't know, 6 or 7 months ago. I can't remember exact date, but when they first introduced it, though, just imagine if I ask it a question like, hey, what's the weather? And it takes like a minute to calculate that, then it's very, very different than if I just, cut out that gap and doing nothing. And that's what sort of what with this was. It was a bit of a misleading of how far along they were. And so that's why I'm always a little bit skeptical of OpenAI and ChatGPT sort of performance as they go forward. And it's interesting to hear, like today, that they're actually going to define success in AGI, or AGI, I guess achieved is the word in the article, how they say this, is when they generate at least 100 billion in profit. So it's just about the money. The other issue as well is with the Tesla situation. And sometimes people who say, Chris, I see that Elon Musk has got AI, and Musk even brags about, AI, and all the Wall Street tells you they're going to have AI and it's going to be awesome. And they'll say, I see it on YouTube. Look how well that car drives. It's so awesome. Now, there was actually, and this is sort of why reporting comes important, right? You understand what's going on inside the company. But there were insiders inside Tesla that were saying, well, the videos you see on YouTube are basically by Tesla influencers, and the engineers over at Tesla spend a lot of time making sure the videos that you see look really, really good. They essentially put in invisible walls / guardrails or rails, however you want to say, in place, and sort of go through and identify the landscape of the particular route that car is driving. So it's not like necessarily the car can just see things visually as Elon Musk claims, right? It's very, very different if you map a route for a car, and it's on a track, opposed to letting the car kind of, which I were to say, AGI, using artificial general intelligence to interpret the world. It's a different thing, because essentially the way they're training these things is you just feed it all this information, and then it just sort of follows your instructions in a way. And I'm doing a very rudimentary definition of how these things work. And this is sort of why I like to talk with you guys, because we all have different talents and stuff like that. So for me, I can tell you sort of the general things of what's going on, the financial stuff, the news stuff, and sort of the business aspects of it. The actual coding of the AI. Don't ask me for that. I don't know, and that's fine. I have no problem with that, and that's why I ask you guys to sort of fill in the blanks that I might be missing. And for me, when I sort of hear this of Microsoft and OpenAI is defining this thing based on money, not on actual capability. That's why I feel like this is all essentially a cash grab. One of the things that came out today as well is Microsoft is even upping their prices on their Microsoft 365 thing. There's an article out today. I'll read the headline. It says, this is from Wall Street Journal. Microsoft is forcing its AI assistant on people and making them pay. I'm laughing oh God, what's going on now? So basically, they reported it's in Australia and in Southeast Asian markets, if you have a subscription to the Microsoft thing, they basically just up the price of it, and you're getting AI if you like it or not, right? And I don't think that's happened yet in the U.S. market or other markets. You guys can let me know if that is the case, but that's kind of a sneaky way to get people to sign up for your service by there's no other tier. You're going to get it, right? And then they just up the price on you. And it's funny because I was overlooking at Sam Altman, who's the CEO of that place, and he was even tweeting out on, I guess, as a Christmas, what would you like OpenAI to build / fix in 2025? Basically soliciting just random people, hey, tell me how to make this thing better so we can sell something to you. That's sort of what it is. And if you watch my video with Yeji, which is my wife, when we were talking to the AI, it seemed because a couple people point out in the comments, but it seemed like the AI was trying to extract ideas and information from me, which is part of how these things are trained, right? They don't necessarily think for themselves; they're just going to copy what I say or think, which is kind of funny. So it's ironic that Sam Altman's basically doing the task of his AI himself by trying to get people to give them information essentially. The other issue as well, this is just 3 hours ago. This is from OpenAI. They say most of ChatGPT and API and Sora have been down for a couple of hours, and we're sorry for the trouble this is causing. So they're still sort of in this, I guess you call it beta stage, if you want to call it. They lose money over there also. The last report I saw is that they're losing like $5 billion a year, which is quite a lot. And Elon Musk is actually suing them to try to keep them from going for profit. Basically, he's just trying to slow them down, maybe, and try to catch up with his company, which he's calling XAI. The other thing that's going on is OpenAI and ChatGPT, or slash the OpenAI's chatbot. They're kind of going to be bundled together, and the question is going to be how tightly integrated are they going to be in the Microsoft as an operating system, and then OpenAI ChatGPT is also being integrated with Apple. So that right there, like, is that a monopoly or not? Like, there are other AI companies out there, and they're already sort of seizing the market of like all Apple iPhones. I think it's like the 15 Pros and then all the 16s or something like that are going to have ChatGPT and like capability. Like, I think it's going to basically replace Siri, is what it sounds like to me. And it's funny when I mentioned that. The first thing my wife said, Yeji, she's like, I wonder if that means that Apple's just giving up on researching it because it's just not worth their money, and they're going to let someone else research it, right? Dump all the money into it. Now, Apple's certainly licensed it, and they'll throw money towards that. But it's quite interesting if you think about how Apple's just relying on them. Or you can make the case that Apple's just like, hey, we're so far behind OpenAI, better off just partnering with them than trying to make our own. And before we talked about this issue as well, to catch up with a company like an OpenAI, it just takes a massive amount of investment. You need the people, you need the hardware, the data centers, the compute power. Because, like, say if you want to get to that AGI, that mythical thing that may or may not ever exist, you're probably going to have machines that can operate really, really quickly, a lot of power, a lot of data. And will they ever get to the thinking machine? And actually, it's funny, was when we asked the AI just today, they were saying like we don't even necessarily even understand fully how the brain works. So there's that. There's another issue as well. Again, it's like when you go down this rabbit hole, all this kind of shady stuff that these companies do, it's just funny. I find it funny. I mean, I understand. It's not funny in the terms of ha ha ha, and but I mean, as I say many times on my channel, do you want me to just cry every day? You gotta deal with stress in a way. So Microsoft actually is under investigation by the FTC now, and I think the DOJ was in there as well, but that was for the antitrust stuff. This is a new thing that just came out today, December 26th. I was like, what the heck is this one? So basically, I guess there was like this virus. What was it called? The Sunshine virus or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. And you guys can remember what it was. There was some sort of recent thing. I always forget the name of these virus attacks, but there was a recent attack. And essentially what Microsoft did is they told all these government agencies, okay, you got the Sunshine thing problem, and you got to protect yourselves. What we're going to do, we're going to give you a free upgrade on all of our, operating systems. And that free upgrade comes with like, advanced, protection for your computer. And then what happened was that after that free trial ended, then it just like kind of automatically went to the upgraded pay. And so the question is that, was that a shady tactic by Microsoft to essentially get a upgraded contract, which is worth a lot of money? So there's like a bunch of federal employees at multiple agencies to then now have, higher price fees. And the price on this stuff can be, per user can be like crazy numbers, like, $20, $30 a month. And that adds up very, very quickly among organizations. So the FTC, that's Lena Khan, right? They're looking at that. So we'll see if that ends up being, and the headline was Microsoft bundling practices focus on federal antitrust probe. So that's all the shady stuff going on. It is definitely about money. And again, the lead story is the leaked document. There's an agreement between OpenAI and Microsoft that they're going to define when they've reached, I guess, AGI, artificial general intelligence, when they've made 100 billion in profits on these things. What an interesting definition. So I want to hear your thoughts on any of these topics. I always appreciate your time, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next video.